How's it going, Talk Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea, taking place tomorrow at Stamford Bridge. Forest unbeaten against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in our return to the Premier League. Obviously, we had a fair few visits to Stamford Bridge in FA Cup ties and League Cup ties over the years. But since we've been back in the Premier League, it's been a 2-2 draw and then a 1-0 win over in is it West London? I think it might be. Might have got that wrong. But yeah, I think 2-2 in the first season we were up. And then last season, towards the start of the season, I think it was in September. It was Anthony Elanga who scored the only goal of the game, and we managed to beat them at their patch. In terms of our form against them at home, it was a draw on, I think it was New Year's Day. In our first season, the 1-0 draw, I remember Serge Aurier scored for us, and then in the last home game we played against them, it was a win would have secured us safety in the Premier League, or it might have even been a solitary point, and I think we were 2-1 up at one point and ended up losing 3-2 towards the end of the game. So yeah, we've had some interesting encounters with Chelsea over the past couple of years, and I feel like Chelsea, they've had ups and downs over the past couple of seasons, but this year they've looked pretty good, They look pretty good. They lost the opening day against Man City, but I think most teams are going to lose against Manchester City this season, so there's nothing too embarrassing about that. Had some really impressive wins over the season, battered Wolves at their place, beat Brighton with Cole Palmer scoring 4 goals in the first half. They're a decent side, Chelsea. They're a decent side, and I think Enzo Maresca's got something going on there. There was a little bit of I think at the start of the season, and I was on that, and a lot of people were, that they were going to struggle this year, and Maresca will be one of the first ones out the door. I wasn't really too sure on that one, but I did think they might struggle with the amount of players they brought in. And I know, coming from a Forest fan who knows all about bringing in a lot of players, it's not always negative, but I thought, yeah, they might struggle, but they're looking really, really decent at the moment. They're in the top 4 as things stand. I'm pretty sure it's, I think I checked earlier, I think it was 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So not bad for them at all. The draw came at home to Crystal Palace. They had a really, I watched them against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, and they looked really solid in that game. They won 1-0. It was Christopher Nkunku goal, but they had to dig in and manage the pressure from Bournemouth, and they did well in that one. So I'm not going into this one thinking we're going to have a huge chance, but then I thought against Liverpool we wouldn't have much of a chance. We ended up winning that one, so you never know. I'll be really intrigued to see if Nuno looks to go with a similar lineup, adopt that for midfielders in the middle like he did against Liverpool, or if he's going to try something different, a little bit more conventional against Chelsea. That remains to be seen, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one. It's a real test for us. It'll be interesting to see how we handle it, how we manage in the situation. Obviously Chelsea are a traditional top 4, top 6 club. So will Nuno look at it as an opportunity to try out that 4 in midfield with the likes of James Ward-Prowse, Dominguez, what's his name, Yates, and his name? Anderson. Is it Anderson? Yeah, I've not said Anderson. I got to the end of the list and I've forgotten who I said at the start. Ward-Prowse, Dominguez, Yates, and Anderson. That's it. Yeah. I was like, what's his name? I was like, I'll just say Yates, and I'm trying to think. Did I say Anderson at the start? I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling. Would he have that, that midfield 4 where he looks to try and pack that midfield out, and then as the full-backs and the wide men tire for Chelsea, he looks to bring on the pace? I don't know, and I think, I really like the fact that Nuno has a second sort of plan, a bit of plan B, if you will. I think it really helps, allows us to offer something a little bit different. We're not kind of stuck with what we kind of, we know, and a lot of other teams can probably look to exploit and to understand. I think we've got a little bit of something different, and I think that's really, really important, and something that I really like about Nuno, and I'm really pleased he's done that. And I hope that we can keep adapting and keep coming up with different ideas of different solutions to try and deal with different sides. But yeah, Chelsea, we know about Chelsea that Cole Palmer is on absolute flames. I really wanted to try and get him into my FPL, but just can't afford him. He's going up in price and things, and I just think that he's such a good football player. To come from the Manchester City Academy, to get his chance like he did, a couple of opportunities in like the I think it was the Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup. He scored in both of those and took his chance, and you kind of thought, oh, maybe he might get phased into the Manchester City side, but Chelsea took a punt on him, brought him in, and it's been an absolutely fantastic bit of business for them. In a season last year that was full of so many lowlights, he was a definite highlight, and someone that I think is such a good football player. He's so hard to read because he doesn't, necessarily have a defined role of this is what he does and this is what he's going to do. He just picks the ball up and just does whatever he just fancies. There was a clip that was circulating on social media after the Brighton game where he scored 4 goals, but there was a pass that he put on for Nicholas Jackson, who probably should have scored, rounded the keeper, and then a defender got back on the line to make the block. And he just got the ball, and first time, just pinged it, like curled it completely over the defence into the path of Jackson. And he's just such a good footballer, and you look at him in his interviews, and it's like he doesn't seem like a very bright person, unfortunately for him. But on the football pitch, he's just so intelligent. He just knows what needs to be done, the most effective play. He's so good, and there's a thing where, like, people say that he doesn't understand pressure, so he doesn't feel it in the big moments, and that's invaluable for a world class athlete. There was a thing about Ronaldo where that someone managed to track his heartbeat. I'm not sure how it happened, but it was in the I think it was the round of 16 of the Euros, and he took a penalty towards the end of the game. It was 0-0 in an I think it was the end of the full match, end of the 90 minutes, the regulatory period, and he missed a penalty. Jan Oblak saved it, and he was in tears before extra time, and then it went to penalties, and there was this thing that his nice one just dropped my Forest members pen there. Yeah. But he took a penalty and in the shootout and scored it, and his heart rate was the lowest it had been in the whole match when he was taking that penalty, and just it's such a big thing for professional footballers to have that ability to not feel pressure in really massive moments. I know for me, if I was to take a penalty in any game of football, I'd be absolutely bricking it. So just to not have the pressure in those big moments it's incredible. It gives you that extra second to think, that extra space to move, because you're not kind of having to compute the magnitude of the moment. You're just there and doing what you need to do, and it's just like a kickabout in the park with the lads. So, it's just such a good player, Cole Palmer. We're going to really have to do everything that we can to try and stop him. He scored, if I remember rightly, against us in the game at our ground last season. So I think he's such a big player, and he's probably their danger man, and we're going to have to really keep our eye out on him. Nicholas Jackson as well. He's someone that kind of gets clowned a little bit on social media, but he's done well to start the season off, and he's got a really decent goal record for Chelsea. So I think he's someone that we're going to have to really keep our eye out on and really be wary of him. Sancho looks good in his moments for Chelsea. They're a good side, Chelsea. They just need to try and gel a few things together, and I think they've tried to throw a lot of money at a lot of players and hope that something would stick, and something's coming around a little bit. So we're going to have to be careful going into this one, but I'd like to think that we could maybe put something up and not give a real good account of ourselves, have a real good game. I don't think we have to go to these big teams and cower away now. I know, I love Steve Cooper, don't get me wrong, but sometimes, not at Stamford Bridge, because he managed to go there and get a point, but in some games, like you look at how we played it under him at the Emirates in our first game under him, or the first season under him in the Premier League, how he went to, the Etihad at the start of the season and got absolutely hammered in that first season. We're not having to go to grounds and do that anymore. Last season we were able to be a little bit stronger even under Cooper. So I think we're in a place now where we can build and offer a challenge to these sides, and I feel like we can go and do that. I'm going to give a prediction of, I feel like a narrow 2-1 might happen to Chelsea, but I'd be very happy with a point, you know, be really, really happy with a point going away to Stamford Bridge and getting a point. I'd be really, really happy with that. But I do feel a 2-1 Chelsea win, probably Cole Palmer on the score sheet, because I just think he's an outrageous footballer. For us, I'm going to go with Callum Hudson-Odoi returning to his old club, cutting in and banging one in. That would be lovely to see. But yeah, I do see a narrow loss, but I wouldn't be surprised if we managed to get a point. You know, I think we could really manage something like that. But yeah, overall, looking forward to this one. Not going to go with my lineup because I think it'll be interesting to see what what Nuno decides to go with. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Hopefully we can go and get all 3 points, but we'll see how things go. Let us know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the game, who you think might start, and what you think we can do to try and hurt Chelsea. I'll be really intrigued to see that. I think, you know, if we could pack out that midfield for a lot of the game and then use our wingers to come on and stretch the play, I think that could work. It worked at Anfield. Could it work at Stamford Bridge? I think it might do, you know. But yeah, really looking forward to this one, and can't wait to see how it pans out. So if you did enjoy this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and you are enjoying the stuff you see on this channel, and come on, you Reds.